What's up, everybody? I'm Chef Mike Jerez, along with
John Baruti,
and we are
the Million Dollar Food Guys.
Today we have a sort of controversial
Very
topic.
controversial.
Our governor of New Jersey just signed a bill stating that over a 5-year period, and with seasonal, 7 years.
So tell me about
$15 an hour for all employees.
Does the seasonal change too?
Yes, the seasonal gets 7 years to create it.
Got it.
It's over a 5-year time that we have to increase our minimum wage to $15 an hour over either 5 years or over 7 years, depending on your business.
Correct. So I don't want to go on a tangent here, but here's the thing. So I did a little research real quick, and I don't want anybody to zone out, but I'm going to do just a little bit of a history lesson because I get a kick out of it, right? Because everybody forgets that history repeats itself. So I looked into the last time that we went through this type of increase as far as our minimum wage. Lo and behold, and listen, I can go back to 300 AD. I'm not going to get freaky on you. Maybe a little later, but 300 AD.
300 AD.
Diocletian. Okay, I won't go there yet. Okay, listen. So 1974, Dick, our president, which was Mr. Nixon, right, started raising the minimum wage. He went to $2 an hour. It was $2 an hour. Every year after that, after him it was Ford, after Ford it was Carter. Every year after that, I think it skipped 1 year, they kept raising it, right? So, and here's the problem. It's called a minimum wage, people, not a living wage. I apologize.
Correct.
It's a minimum wage, not a living wage, and we'll get into that. But regardless, went from $2 to 2081, it became $3. I think it was $3.80, $3.90. I'm not exactly sure, but it increased 67% in that short period of time. Now, history, my friend, history says we are now in 2019. It started in 2017, but really in 2016 when it started raising. I think it's $8.50 now?
Correct.
$8.50. It's going to $15. So it's going to $15 in 2024.
5 years from now.
5 years from now, right? You do the math, it's very simple. From $8.50 to $15 is 76% increase, right? Back when Dick started it and our lovely President Carter finished it, because it hadn't raised for years after that, it was 67%. Now, Michael, do you remember, I know we were born in 1969.
Correct.
But do you remember the late 70s, early 80s?
I do.
I do too.
Absolutely.
I do too.
Yep.
And the reason I remember them is because I remember it distinctly. My father bought my sister a 1984 Pontiac Firebird. Do you remember it?
I do remember it very well.
Leather inside.
Mary Dreps in it, yes.
Right. My sister was over the moon with the car. I didn't get a new car, but we'll go over that. I got a 1971 Volkswagen bus, but that's beside the point.
And the Fiat X19?
And the Fiat X19, and we went into that last episode.
We learned how to drive stick on, by the way.
We won't go into that. But regardless, so basically what had happened in that same time period is inflation went through the roof, right? So from 1974 till 1981, inflation went through the roof. And that's why my dad had to pay 18% interest for my sister's car. 18%, people. I also remember that my father couldn't print his menus fast enough because we had to change prices in the restaurant because everything was going up through the roof, right? Everything. My dad could not raise price. I can remember like yesterday, him and my mama arguing, which was not abnormal. Love them to death, but that's what they did. Yep. So they were arguing about raising prices. Charlie, we can't do it. Yes, we have to, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to bring this back, but this is what it creates. It is supposed to be a minimum wage. It is created for the indigent, the people that can't help themselves. It's supposed to not screw people. That's what the minimum wage is for.
Right.
It's also for people, high school kids, college kids, that want experience, right? If you do look into the statistics of who makes minimum wage, even as of right now, the largest percentage is 24 years of age or younger, right? Which are people looking for experience.
Sure.
Right? That's what it's designed for. Not only that, the reason we have a minimum wage goes back to, FDR actually started, it was 25 cents, but the reason we did is so people didn't get screwed. And that's the reason for it. I have no problem with a minimum wage. I actually have a little bit of a problem because I'm a capitalist. I am a full 100% capitalist. The markets are supposed to set prices, set wages, set everything. Now, people are looking at this, no, John, it doesn't work that way. It actually does. And I'll give you an example. I'll bring Mike in on this. Right now, in 2019, Michael, can you hire in your restaurant anybody at $8.50?
Absolutely not.
Have you been able to?
No.
Neither can I. I also own an ice cream store, right? And this is exactly what it's for. We have an ice cream store. It's down the street from Mike's beautiful restaurant. And there we hire kids, and I say kids because they're kids, at $8.50, right? Because they have zero experience.
Correct.
Right? They're actually, their parents honestly would say, don't pay my kid, just make them work. Because they need experience. My parents would have said the same thing and did.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's how we got jobs when we were young.
Correct.
For the experience. And again, people, remember, that's mainly not supposed to be, you look at the statistics, that's who it is for right now. The majority is for 24 years of age or younger. Right? And that's who it's supposed to help. So take it to 2024, and I'm going to explain to you what's going to happen. Because everybody is saying, I've had people call me up, I can't believe you pay that low, $12, $13 an hour. I can't wait till it goes to $15 an hour. You'll get
Correct.
your day.
Correct.
Okay. Here's the problem with when it goes to $15 an hour, right? So a couple things will happen. First, inflation, just like in the 80s, late 70s, will go through the roof. It just will, because as prices rise, it's simple economics.
110%.
It's simple economics.
Correct.
So prices will increase because Michael will have to pay more from me. Michael buys his bread from me. I'll have to increase him. He'll have to increase the prices here. This is what happens. Michael has a beautiful fine dining restaurant. My father and mother had a beautiful fine dining restaurant. They are the first to be hit, right? Because what happens is, as the economy, as the inflation increases, people have less money to spend. They don't want to spend it, right? Now, these people that were at $15 an hour, we're like, no, they're going to go to Michael's restaurant. No. They're not going to go to Michael's restaurant.
No, not at all. No.
So Michael's restaurant will be affected because his prices are going to increase, right? Inflation's going to go high. People aren't going to come out to restaurants like this, right? So Michael will have to lay off people. Like my dad laid off people. Not hire more people at $15 an hour.
Correct.
But lay them off. So now what happens, let's say Michael lays people off, but he still may need people. I still may need people. One person walks in the door, $9 an hour person, right? You know it. They go like this. They're not really enthusiastic. They're the $9, $8 an hour person, right? And person B walks into the restaurant or the bakery or the ice cream store. Enthusiastic, I just got laid off, I had a great job, I'm a real great employee. $15 an hour. Who does me and Mike hire? The $9 an hour value guy at $9 an hour? Or the guy that's worth $15 an hour? Who do we hire?
The guy's worth it, absolutely.
The guy that's worth $15 an hour.
Absolutely.
So the problem here is our wonderful government is trying to give a living wage. They're trying to set the market instead of let the market go. They will hurt. They will hurt. And you hear, and I looked into this. Washington State, Vermont, just in New York. I have friends that own bakeries in New York. You know what they did? They laid people off. The prices didn't even go through the roof yet.
Right.
And I'll tell you why
Correct.
they laid people off. Two bakeries. They laid people off because the $9 an hour guy that they were paying, that they now have to pay $15 an hour, right? Guy walks in, I'm going to give him a chance. He seems like a guy that hustles. The $9 an hour guy that's like this and complaining and really is a $9 an hour guy, he gets booted. That guy is who the minimum wage was designed for, right?
Correct.
Because he doesn't have the skill, he doesn't have the talent, he doesn't have the enthusiasm. He's a $8 or $9 an hour guy. I have to hire him. And listen, we have those guys that we need.
Absolutely.
But we will not, as business owners, hire a $9 an hour guy at $15.
Correct.
We might for a day, a week, a month, but we will not keep him or her at $15 an hour if they're valued at $9. Now, I know there's a bunch of people saying, I'm worth $15 an hour,
Correct.
and you may be. You may be, and God bless you if you are. You will get the $15. My argument is the people that it's designed to help, it's going to hurt. And I have a couple other examples. I don't mean to take over this episode.
Yeah,
from
but
you.
here's the bottom line. The bottom line is, and this is the reality part of it, is everybody thinks it's going to help them, and it's actually going to really hurt them.
It's going to hurt.
It's going to hurt all across, and it's going to hurt middle-class people the most. Because prices are going to go through the roof, and the people that we're both old school. We both did this all our lives. We're both old school.
Old school.
We worked on the method is you earn your pay. You work your way up. You get a degree. You go to school. You earn a trade. You do something. Yeah. You earn something. You work your way up the ranks to deserve this money. Right. How dare someone come in with no skill set at all and think they get $50 an hour when the people who are working for 10, 15 years to earn that $50 an hour, my issue is that it's the trickle-down effect. And everything you said is correct. But the trickle-down effect in my business, we pay better than $15 an hour on most cases because that's the way of the world today. But the guy who's making 15 now, and a new guy's coming in who worked 15 years to earn $15 an hour, he's going to want 20. And the guy who makes 20 is going to want 25. And the guy who makes 25 is going to want 30.
Do you know what that's called, Michael?
Go ahead.
Inflation.
Correct.
That's inflation.
And the dollar that had value is not worth anything more now. Now the dollar goes like this.
So what do you have to do, Mike, when you have to pay that guy that was getting $18 or $19, $25? What do you have to do to your menu?
Guess what? You think it's going to be cheap going out to dinner? You think that $3 ice cream cone that you served, one scoop ice cream cone, is going to be $3 anymore? You're looking at a $10 cone. Right. You think that sub you get for $12 is going to be $12 anymore? It's going to be $25.
And I don't want to be an alarmist, right?
And how about the pizza? Let's just talk about pizza.
Yeah.
You got a pizzeria guy making pizza on a sub or whatever, and you love that $10, $11 pizza, which is outrageous to begin with, by the way. I'm not going to tell anybody, but that pizza now is going to be $25, $30 for a plain pizza. So you got 15. Yay! I'm cool. I got 15. Guess what? It's going to cost more to live than what your 15 is.
Can I address what you just said?
100%.
Michael said more to live, right? So again, let's talk about the people it's supposed to help. It's supposed to help the people that are on food stamps, that are on housing subsidies, right? So I did a little research into those two things. Food stamps. So if you make $15 an hour and you work 40 hours a week, you are no longer allowed food stamps.
Correct.
If you have a household of two and you both making, God bless you, $15 an hour, if you're both working full time, you can no longer get public housing.
Correct.
If your wife works part-time and you work full-time, or your significant other, whoever you're with, and you try to get public housing, you cannot. Okay. Correct. I didn't have time. We just put this together because this just happened. I didn't look into the health system, but I'm pretty sure it's going to massively hurt.
Absolutely.
Now, did Governor Murphy do this on purpose? Because his geniuses as economics are telling him, listen, this is beautiful for you, right? You look like a superstar at $15 an hour, and 90% of the people, let's not go 90. Let's say 60% of the people.
Correct.
Let's say 40% of the people can no longer suck the life out of the state. That's a wonderful thing.
Absolutely it is.
For the government, right? Not for us. Not for that guy that's calling me saying, John, I can't wait till you have to pay $15 an hour. Well, my friend, we are in the greatest country in the world, bar none.
Absolutely.
The United States of America.
Correct.
The way it was designed, right, was our Constitution, right, and capitalism. It's what it's built on. Those two things are what our nation was built on.
Absolutely.
Right? And we've survived an outstanding 200 plus years, I think, right? I'm horrible with that, but it's something like that. And now, and this is, I'm going to go into a little bit of a rant, right? Because nobody listens or looks at history, not even far. You look at Europe. You look at where my father was from, Italy. It's a poop show. Italy's a poop show. Poop show. So is 90% of Europe, right? Why? Why is Europe a poop show? Well, Johnny needs the money. Let's just give it to him. Socialism, right? Let's just give that guy a hand up. I'm not being callous. I'm just saying capitalism works. Let's say all the subsidies go away. Right? Let's bring it back to the 30s, right? When Rockefeller was around. Sure. He donated more money to those people because there were no subsidies. Do you think the multi-millionaires do as much as they did? Why? Because the government helps. I'm not going to Why would I give? The government's doing it. And that just goes into a massive, massive snowball, which is what it's going into now, right? Because we just keep giving and giving. We just want to help. And that's not how our society was built. It's built on capitalism. The markets set the price.
Yes.
Mike can no longer pay $8.50 an hour. I can no longer pay $8.50 an hour because the market, right now, you can't find employees. It's very hard to find them, right? Because the market's doing well, right? The market does well, so we have to pay more to get a better employee. Forget about the fact that the people that we are paying $10, $12, $15, $20, $25 an hour, you can't even get them to show up.
Oh, and this is going to be a multi-part segment episode that we're doing with this one. This is going to be part 1, part 2, maybe even part 3, because we didn't even get into that part of the quality of help that is out there, which is another episode of what really exists out there as far as quality and trained professionals of what we do for a living.
Enthusiasm, drug abuse, it's rampant. It's
alcoholism.
Alcoholism.
I mean, listen, every vice in the world is in the restaurant industry. Every vice, and we deal with it on a daily basis, and it's being in the forefront of media today. Of all these high-end profile chefs being caught with sexual harassment and abuse and stealing tips and wages from servers. I mean,
and it's not even the restaurant. Did you hear the newest news with another Republican, or it was either Republican or Democrat that was sexually harassing? It just literally came out today. Remember the Weiner thing in New York?
Yeah.
Senator Weiner. Well, this guy did very similar thing. He fired the girl. He sexual harassed her. Fired. I mean, it's like we're in bizarro world.
But it's massive, and in this industry, it's really rampant because it's kind of like a free fall. You know, everybody's gone through it, and in the 80s and the early 90s, it was very rampant of what you could say and do, and no one really said anything. But in this day and age, 2019, it's a different world.
It is.
I had the greatest quote ever. The world is not the world that I grew up in. And I truly, truly believe that. I grew up in a different world. And call it Earth 2, call it whatever you want to call it, but I grew up in a different time. And there was different attitudes and different worlds, and now everybody is offended by every word and this, that, and the other thing. And it's absolutely insanity.
And listen, I know you did because I knew your dad. You knew my dad. So we remember them saying, "Oh, it's much different today than it was back then." We remember that, right? And we're just like, "Oh, they're old men." And listen, me and Mike are getting up there in age. The reality, though, is it was different from when they grew up. Today, because of the internet, God bless it, because of the speed of things that are happening, it is no doubt a much different.
Well, the worst invention in the world was the phone. The cell phone was the worst invention ever because the cell phone has video camera, it has everything. You record people's conversations.
See, I don't mean to. I'm going to push back on that one.
Right.
I will. I personally think it's the best, but with the caveat.
Correct.
It is the best invention, just like when we went back to the car and the plane. It is one of the best inventions. It just is getting abused.
But people use it for evil.
No doubt. There's no doubt. Right. And that's never going to stop.
90% of the sexual harassment is all done on phone.
No doubt.
So it was used for evil purposes. I wish it didn't exist for that, but unfortunately it does.
So let's take that premise.
Because look, we grew up in the 80s. We didn't have any of that stuff, and you didn't hear any of these stories.
No.
Nothing.
Right.
You go to a party, you have a good time, everybody's getting drunk, and it wasn't people videotaping you getting drunk or what you're saying or what you're doing. Now today it is, and it's a different story.
But let's take that premise and put it on to bring it back to the minimum wage, right? So Michael's premise is that this instantaneous, the thing that we're doing now, has created a lot of evil. What it also has done, and I'm neither for Trump or against Trump. I've followed Trump my whole career. I'm a finance guy, right? So I followed him. He's a great business person. I don't agree with a lot of things he does with the tweeting and stuff, but regardless. Trump won because of this, because of tweeting and because of social media. Right?
100%. Absolutely.
So, and our current government panders to this, right? So it's instantaneous for them, either tweeting or getting on YouTube or quote unquote being caught in a conversation whatever that means, which means they're posing for it. So it's instantaneous. And what it happens is, right, Governor Murphy, let's bring it back to him because it's $15 a minimum wage. Is he vying for a presidential? I don't know that. You don't know that. No. Nor do I care. No. But what he is doing is he wants approvals. And approvals is $15 an hour minimum wage. Nobody is out there touting the bad part of it. There are people doing that, right? But the masses who this is supposed to help, who is his voting base, they're the ones that are like, yeah, $15 an hour. Listen, education, right? There's a thing called Google. Google what's going on in Washington State. Google what's going on in Arizona and New York and all the places that have gone to minimum wage limits that are unrealistic. Should we raise minimum wage? Absolutely. I have no problem with that. I don't.
No, I don't. I really don't either, to be honest with you. I really don't.
Because raise it, right? Don't raise it to 15. Don't raise it 76% in less than 5 years.
For me, it's the issue of the money, but for me, more it's the issue of the trickle-down effect and the people of non-deserving this wage getting that wage.
But they won't.
You know,
You know that.
But I'm a blue-collar guy like you. We get our hands dirty every single day. We worked our asses off to get where we are today. Yes. And I believe, you know, for me, I started off, I think it was $225 or whatever I got paid back in the day.
God, yeah.
But you know what? I worked my butt off to get to where I am. I worked 100 hours a week. I worked for free. Yeah. I was told back in the day, you punch out, then you clean the kitchen. I didn't say 2 words. I did it.
Yeah.
If I came in early at 12 o'clock and my schedule was at 3, I didn't get paid until 3 o'clock. That's what my schedule was. But I came in early to get my job done because I wanted to learn. I wanted to get myself ready. You just don't see that today. And I have a hard time paying someone that money that does not deserve it. You are paid what your skill set is, not what you think you deserve or what you think someone else thinks that you deserve.
Correct. That's correct.
It's what your skill. You want to make that 15? Earn it. Go to school. Go to trade school. All right, college. I don't want to go. Fine, don't go to college. There's a million. But you can apprentice under other people. I will take anybody in my kitchen, and you can apprentice under me and work 10 years to earn your keep.
But Michael, those people are not who this is going to help. The hustlers, the people that are really good employees, it's not going to hurt. It is actually going to hurt them because, again, inflation will go high, wages will go crazy, we'll have to raise rates. A lot of people will get laid off. I'm telling you, mark my word. Absolutely. Listen to this in 5 years. If this all goes through and the economy goes the way it's going now with inflation, it's what will happen. It has happened time and time again. So again, the people that this is supposed to be helping, it will not. Because those great employees that you're talking about, they will be coveted. And the crappy employees, let's call it what it is, the crappy employees or the unskilled employees will walk in. I want $15 an hour. No, Bob, I don't think so. I got Larry over there. He's a rock star. I'm going to pay him $18 an hour, and I'm going to be happy about it. You, not so much. And that's what's going to happen.
I agree with you, and people think that this is going to help them. It's going to hurt them, and they have to realize that in every single way. Let's even go back to taxes. Your tax bracket is you're going to get more money taken out of your paycheck.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even go there. Yeah.
Your tax bracket's going to go up. It's going to put you in a different level of income. So it's your
like
and
you
listen
said, it's a
for me.
down.
If you get $40 an hour, 40 hours a week right now at $10 an hour, let's say, you're making 15. You're going to get 15 hours a week. That's how it's going to be. Yeah. You're going to make less.
Well,
Stop it.
I'm not going to mention the bakeries, but I was just at a conference not that long ago, and talking to people in New York State. That's what's happening. So they're laying off and they're cutting hours.
Absolutely.
Laying off.
That was the first thing I ever thought about. Besides the economy going up, the first thing I thought about it was, okay, I'm going to hire 20 people and each give them 5 hours a week.
Right.
That's how it's going to be. So you think you're going to make all this money? You're not. It is an absolute absurdity to even think in your mind reality. But the reality really is that costs are going to go through the roof, and the middle class economy is going to suffer. It's going to suffer massively because all the things that you used to at a discount rate, are no longer going to be there.
That's correct. So Michael mentioned before the pizzeria. I say pizzeria. He says pizzeria.
Pizzeria.
Regardless, he's more Italian than I am. But I have a great customer right over the bridge. Terrific customer of ours. Not going to mention them, but they do very well. And they have I think it's $12.95 Wednesdays pizzas. You literally can't get in the place, right? $12.95 or something on Wednesdays. Right. They run the pizzas. It's an awesome pizza. You can't get in the place. Do you think they're going to run a $12.95 pizza?
Those days are gone.
No. So who does that hurt? It hurts the guy that was supposed to be at the $15 an hour mark that wanted that $12.95 pizza. You can't get it anymore. You got your $15 an hour, but now you're paying $18, $19, $22 for the same pizza. It's economics.
It's pure economics. And what's really going to hurt is the guy who's making $17, $18 an hour, who deserved that money, who worked his way up through his life to earn that. He's got degrees. He went to school. He traded. Yep. Okay. He's going to have to pay $30 for a pizza, and he's making $17. So it's going to hurt him tremendously.
That's if he has a job. That's if that guy has a job.
But that's tremendous on him, on his family. Yes. Now, he's making a decent wage. Let's just say he's making $20 an hour, decent wage.
Right.
He's got to pay now $30 for a plain pizza because some moron decided that I got to pay somebody $15 an hour who does not deserve it.
Right.
Stop the madness.
Right. So the Bernie Sanders, the leftists.
Stop it. Stop the madness.
Just let America be America, right? We were founded on capitalism and our Constitution. Just let it do what it does. We've gone 200 years. It's been a perfect system. Like, people are baffled by our system. Now, I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant. Our system is terrific, right? I'm gonna go to 300 AD. I'm going to 300
Jesus
AD.
Christ.
Diocletian.
We're all doomed.
Diafrickincletians, 300 AD. Listen to what happened. Real quick. I know everybody just tuned out, but stick with me here, people. 300 AD. Diocletian. First, the Romans, right? What they did is they started clipping coins, clipping gold coins. When you went to the state capitol, they clipped their coin. They put that extra into a pot. They made more coins. That sounds familiar. Then what they did, because they couldn't clip any more coins, then they started milling down the gold with copper and zinc and stuff because they needed more money, because they had wars and they needed all these things, right? That's what they did. So what happened was inflation went through the roof. Sound familiar, people? Hold on one second. So inflation went through the roof. So Diocletians, right? I don't know, I just love this guy. I love his name. Diocletian said, this is what we're going to do. We are going to have a living wage. Wow, that sounds familiar. Not only are we going to have a living wage, for milk, bread, and these things, you have to pay this much. Fixing the markets. We just lost our lights, but that's okay. Fixing the market. Fixing the market, not letting it do what it does. Correct. Right? And this was by death. If you didn't do these things, it was by death. Right? So you got killed. So people said, you know what? I'm gonna go out of business. I don't want to die. So then what Diocletian did was say, okay, well, you have to keep your business or you die. And not only that, your first son has to go into your business or he dies, right? This is where I'm going with this. No, we're in 2019. Nobody's dying. Nobody's dying.
Correct.
But it's history, people. When you set bottoms for things, right? When you regulate things that should be capitalistic, the poop hits the fan. It just does. And the government tries to get in front of it, and they say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And go back not so far ago, 1970, 1974, see what they were doing to try to combat inflation. It took them almost 12 years to combat it. Yep. Right? Yep. Because of all the things they were doing. Just let the markets do what they do. It's a capitalistic society. But unfortunately, we keep going to the death of our history, the death of Europe. Look at Europe. Everybody wants these things. Look at Europe. It's a model. I love visiting, but I wouldn't live there. Why do you think so many people come to America? It is the best country in the world because of our system. Yep. Capitalism, people. Let the markets do what they do. My rant is over. I apologize if you zoomed out. I know I get a little crazy, but all right, I'm back to you.
So the bottom line is that people think that this is a great idea. And the people who make $12 or $10 an hour are like, oh my God, I'm going to make so much money. They don't realize that it is absolutely hurting them. Yeah. And
it will.
It's going to affect everybody, middle class, everybody, upper class. It's going to affect everybody across the board because guess what? his prices are going up, then my prices go up.
Exactly.
And I'm expensive already.
Yeah.
So imagine that.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, it's the way of the world. So all like the cheaper commodities, like I said, ice cream cone. $3 ice cream cone is going to be a $10 ice cream cone. The subs, the pizza, all that stuff that we're used to eating.
The
that
food
$9
yes.
chicken bucket at KFC is now going to be a $25 chicken bucket.
The food that the families that struggle eat, right? The families that struggle don't come to Mike. They don't come to this restaurant.
Absolutely.
They don't.
Correct.
Maybe on an occasion they do, God bless them, but the majority of them do not. There is probably a higher echelon of people because of their finances and what Mike charges, right? And this is just, it's just economics, right?
Correct.
So even once Michael gets affected, then what happens is the medium range restaurant, the average Italian restaurant, the average Chinese restaurant, right, will be affected. Then the fast casuals, right? You think McDonald's is going to lose money? No. Right? So it will trickle down, and now because it's not even $1 anymore for the hamburgers at McDonald's.
No, those days
are $1.30, $1.40. It will be $4 for a $1 hamburger.
Correct, and people don't realize the trickle down. This is the biggest thing from me is the trickle down effect of the economy. Is it's gonna trickle down, and you don't realize that. So all you people who voted for this guy. And yeah, I'm happy we're gonna get it. You never thought about the trickle down. And listen, I have employees that make $12 an hour. They come to me, they go, we can't wait to make. I go, you have no idea what's in store for you.
They don't.
You're gonna actually make less.
Well, at first, at the very first, those people. They'll be like, oh my God, I got an increase, and this is what happens. So it's a false positive, right? So it'll be like, we have to increase. If I got a $12 an hour gala guy, I have to bring him up to $15, right? We're going to probably be doing it steadily over the next years. But again, the people that I know the value is not there, they will go to the wayside. I will let them go. But it will be a short-lived thing because the economy goes pretty fast. When things go in the pooper, it goes in the pooper pretty fast, right? So again, inflation will take off. It just will. Again, I will be hurt first because my prices, my flour, my yeast, all those ingredients that go into making my product will go up. I will in turn raise my prices to Michael and all the other restaurants and delis and bakeries that we sell to, and then in turn they will raise their prices. How long does it take? Is it a month? Absolutely not. Is it 4 years? Absolutely not. It's within that range. And then the things that look like it was going up because of the minimum wage will very quickly start to go off the cliff.
Absolutely.
And we will go into, unfortunately, if not a local recession in New Jersey, right? Because New Jersey, it's hard enough to live here. It's hard enough to live here.
Unbelievable, especially for small business. It's the state with the taxes and all that stuff makes it very, very difficult to operate small business.
And that's the argument, right? So you're like, well, John, you're saying it's hard to live here, so the minimum wage should go up. No, it should not. The market, because we're having a terrific economy, right? The market is very low on people. We're paying more. So those people that deserve the money are getting it. When you force it, and not to go into a big circle because we can go on and on about this, when you force it, it will fail. Period. The end.
You know, profit margin for a small business back in the day used to be 40%.
Yes.
And then it went down to 30. Then it went down to 20. Now
I'm happy at 6.
Listen,
6%.
8% for me.
Yeah.
So you're killing yourself for 8% profit. Like what is the logistic? What is the, you put a gun to your head. No one's working for 8%.
Yeah. 7 days a week. 7 days a week.
We do this because this is all we have. You want to know the reality of the business? That's the reality.
It is the reality.
And anybody who wants to challenge that, we open for your comments. Please challenge it. Subscribe to our channel and challenge it because that is the true reality. And if anybody's making more and doing that, we'd love to hear and how you're doing that. Especially with this increase. Right. I'd love to hear how you're doing a 15 or 20%. And 15 is like a miracle. Not like you doing 15. You're like the God. We bow to you. Like that's how silly it is with the increase of food, and everything across the board is increased. Now with the labor on top of it, then
listen, I'm sure there's not a lot of people that are watching this right now. I'm sure it's controversial. We're hoping that, a lot of people get to it. Why? Because we get a kick about, A, getting together with each other, B, about talking about this stuff, C, about, it's business, and this is what we do, right? So if people watch this and subscribe, which is awesome, we need your help with that, and you comment, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of controversial comments. I'm sure there will be.
Absolutely. And you know what? We're open. We're cool with them. We're this is just
debate is where things go right.
This is our opinion. Please take it. It's our opinion, but we're also been doing this a very long time, and we're pretty much reality of what is really going down. We both have successful businesses. We both dealt with a lot of adversity.
And
along
our businesses
the way.
are across the board, right? So you're
Yes.
high end. My ice cream store is for everyone, right? Because it's an ice cream store.
Correct.
And the bakery, where I really get a gauge is the bakery is a beautiful gauge of the economy, right? Because we service pizzerias, we service high end restaurants, we service supermarkets, we service hotels, we service the gamut, right? So I get to see firsthand very quickly who's hurting. And I've seen this for 30 years because we've been doing this for 30 years, right? Right now, honestly, it is tough to make money, but the economy is good and things are good. They are. I wish we could make more profit. We can't. It's very hard. It just is. But the reality is things are okay, right? I will be the first one to notice when things start going bad fast because of how much the market that we service from low end to high end, right? So I'm going to keep you up to date and see how things are going to go. I already know, but you don't have to be a genius. You know,
no, listen, you don't. We had many discussions about this whole thing coming up, and when the governor signed it this week, we figured this would be a great topic to start our podcast about and talk about it because it is going to affect us. It's going to affect you, the consumer. It's going to affect everybody. And industry people, if you're not fully aware of what's going on, you are now because it's going to happen. And I'm sure I talk to a lot of industry people. I'm friends with a lot of owners, restaurant owners, managers, everybody, and everybody's saying the same thing. So. This is
we're going to talk more about this.
Yeah, we're going to continue with this conversation. Thank you for your feedback, though, everybody. We do appreciate it.
Yeah, that was great. Our last one was our very first episode. Went very well.
And we are going to get into the next episode about the workers, the competent workers of this industry.
Well, what I want to talk, and you guys comment on what you want to hear, but what I want to talk about, and this is the hardest thing, besides the $15 an hour thing, is getting and keeping great employees.
100%.
Right? That I think we're all struggling with that.
It really
there was a lot of comments about, forget about the $15 an hour. Right now, in today's market, because it's so hard to find good employees, John, Mike, how do we find good employees? We're struggling with it. How do we keep them? We're struggling with it, right? So we need to talk about that. How do we do that?
20 years ago, everybody was career-minded. Everybody had a career or a trade that they wanted to get into, and they learned their craft. They studied their craft. They apprenticed. They did their research. They traveled. Myself, I traveled all over this great state to learn hone my craft. And I made nothing. When I tell you I lived off a quarter a week and drove a bicycle because I couldn't afford a car. But I honed my craft to come back and to execute all of my knowledge.
To become what you became, right?
You just don't see that today. You see people in and out. Especially our business is more of a pathway to get to somewhere else.
It's transient. There's no question.
There is no one doing this anymore for their career.
No.
And the problem again,
Michael's in the restaurant business, and I read a lot of restaurant magazines and the industry. The restaurant, even more than the bakery, is very transient, obviously.
But we also talked about in the last episode was about the Food Network destroying our industry because the culinary schools. There's more culinary schools in the world today than there ever was in the history of the world.
Hold on. So let's talk about that real quick. And I know this is going long. So I was at another customer of mine, and where I saw somebody walk through the door that I hadn't seen in that deli for a long time. And I'm like, hey, where's he from? Wasn't he in a culinary school teaching? And he said, yes, he was, John. And you know what happened to that school? Their enrollment went to zero. You know why? Because nobody is going to learn the trades anymore. Right? Nobody wants to be in the restaurant business. Nobody wants to be a baker. Nobody wants to weld. Nobody wants to be a plumber. The trades are really suffering.
And our industry got a very, very bad reputation throughout working hard. Because you know what today's world is? Everybody wants to make the $1 million without putting in the $1 million worth of work.
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line.
That's
and
true.
if you think otherwise, you're foolish. All of the top chefs in the world, they all busted their ass to get where they are. So stop believing that you see somebody in the Food Network making $1 million. Guess what? They earned it. They weren't just given that. They earn that money.
And
so
listen,
stop
that's not
believing
only,
that you're going to.
That's not only the restaurant business. That's you see a lot of the you see a lot of these kids, right? Everybody wants to be, and me and Mike are doing this for fun, but everybody wants to be an internet sensation, right? Everybody wants to see these kids making millions of dollars on the internet. Let me explain something to you. If you watch those, because I do watch a lot of YouTube. I do a lot of things to help me as far as I watch a lot of YouTube, right? I just do. I enjoy it. I just do. If you look at all the people, Gary Vee, or somebody like even who's the guy that my kids watch? I forget they do crazy things on the internet.
I don't even know.
Yeah, I forget the name. I apologize. These guys work their asses off. It's not, everybody thinks that it's just easy. I'm going to go put a YouTube thing on, be stupid, or put a cat, and I'm going to be a multimillionaire. It's not the truth, people. Just like in brick and mortar, just like in Mike's business or my business, even on the internet, you have to work your ass off. You have to do things time and time again. You have to fail and learn and fail and learn. Nobody wants to do that. They want to be instantaneous millionaires, YouTube people. They just think it should.
And that's the massive issue that we have in the world today with help is because everybody,
that's
like
right.
We get kids come out of culinary school, they want instantly $18, $20 an hour because they graduated culinary school. I'm like, what? Yeah. What? I graduated culinary school. It took me 10, 15 years to even get a sous chef job.
Jake Paul. I'm sorry, Jake Paul. Sorry. Jake Paul was
stop with this. I'm gonna. It's because I graduated. I deserve the money. You don't deserve nothing. Yeah. You can't even shine my shoes. Yeah. You can't even hold the knife. Yeah. Stop it.
Okay.
Work hard, learn your trade, get out there and bust your ass for nothing.
And don't be a crack addict.
Well, that's part of the program too.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to go there.
Or crystal meth.
All right, guys. So, again, we had another great episode. We always have fun. Comment. Tell us what you want to talk about.
Make sure you subscribe, too. We
subscribe,
appreciate it.
All right? Yep. And we are the $1 Million Food Guys. Turn it on. Just hoping that the battery doesn't die, so... Ooh, that looks stupid.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Are you ready?
Yeah, whenever you are. Oh, you know what I forgot? This is going to have to be a blooper. You know what I forgot to do on this? I'm going to kill it. Oh, no, I did do it. Remember we had that weird noise on one of the videos? It was like, wah! Yeah. It was because I didn't put it in airplane mode, but I just killed myself. You're not going to see any of this, but you might at the end, but regardless. So, getting back to it. So...